my hope for the reader is probably to understand that there are three sides to every story, including this one. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. That's a quote by Robert Evans that I absolutely love. And that's very true for this book, especially considering that the book is written from somebody else's perspective who is present within the story. That is not Angelette or Valerius.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. Again, we have great people from around the world, and I met this great guest, Heather, and I'm really excited because not only is she coming on my show, she's like all over the place as a guest on podcasts. And the one thing that Heather and I both have in common, we're both introverts, so this should be fun. But we're going to be talking about her book, her journey, and all the things that she's writing, and the fact that she's everywhere. I'm thrilled, and I'm a little curious on how she's doing this. So I'm excited to have her here. Heather, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Come on, you're like everywhere. And then I'm like, I get to have time with you, so I'm thrilled. Heather, tell everybody, where are you currently, and when you're not traveling as a guest? Where do you live?
I live in Tennessee. I'm trying to keep my city location private as much as I can because I like to try to separate work and life.
Nice. That's good. So Tennessee, like born and raised in Tennessee?
Yes, born and raised.
Nice. Excellent. Okay. What's one thing about Tennessee as a state that you would say, oh, if you haven't been to Tennessee yet, you should definitely come? What would you say to a new person coming to your part of the world?
Oh, there's a lot to do here. I mean, there's a lot for everyone. I mean, there's a bunch of hiking trails that I've been recently introduced to by my fiance. There's a lot of shopping. There's a lot of just other things to do here, surprisingly.
Excellent. Well, that's great. Yeah, I love anything outdoors and nature. That's fun. So good. Awesome. Let's talk about your author journey, Heather, and how all this started for you. Did somebody kind of point you in this direction, or did you find this path all on your own?
Writing, I honestly don't know how to describe if I was pointed to it or not. Because I was in middle school, and kind of like every middle schooler, I wanted to be a YouTuber when I grew up. And my mom kind of gave me an ultimatum, and she said, you had to write me a script, and you have to submit it to her before I posted anything. I remember at the time I was really upset because I didn't want her to read my stuff. But I kind of realized I fell in love with writing, and I was actually pretty good at it.
All right. What kind of stuff did you like to write early days as a writer?
I mean, it was complete fiction, fantasy, world building. I was just making stories up and writing them down. I was doing them in script writing formats. It's actually the style I feel most comfortable with. Okay.
Explain that format a little bit more for a non-author that's listening. Script format.
So it's mainly dialogue with action beats kind of separated. So it's less talking about like the description of the world, and those are more formulated by other people.
So more like a play than
it really mainly consists of dialogue. The dialogue is what carries the script.
Oh, okay. So not so much about the world building side then, more about the conversations and the characters speaking to each other? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Is that a common thing to start as a starter?
I don't think it is.
No.
Because from what I've seen, there's not a lot of people who go from screenwriting to book writing.
Right.
Like, I know when I started that transition, my hardest part about that transition was the descriptions. Mm-hmm. Actually having to describe the world and the characters and the settings and locations. That was really difficult for me.
So how did you learn how to do that then?
Practice, time. I thankfully was in college at the time, so I could use a lot of class critiques and classmates to be able to help me go, okay, how do I better formulate words to describe things?
All right. So, Heather, we have a lot of people listening to the show as authors, and they're at the beginning stage where you were at one point. They've come to the podcast because hearing another author share their journey can really help them as they listen to our conversation today. So if you could have time with a new author, early days, just starting out, They don't know what's ahead for them. What kind of words of wisdom or support could you give to somebody listening so that we can kind of help them start in a good way as a writer?
Yeah, one piece of advice I'd probably honestly would give to new writers: don't give up before you started trying. Because I had that mentality right before I started, because I heard throughout college you'll get 100 no's before you get a yes. And that killed my motivation, that killed my desire to want to even submit anything, because in my head I said, if I'm going to get a no anyway, what's the point? This should just stay a hobby. And I gave up before I tried,
Yeah.
and I've managed to get the right connections and just flew through it.
Okay. What about the whole idea about just balancing life and writing? Is there any kind of tips that you have for the idea that you still have to work, you still have to go to school, you still have responsibilities, you got relationships, and then you have writing? How do you cram all that into your life at once?
I mean, I just find time. I don't necessarily carve out a specific section. So for me, because that's not how I work,
Yeah.
I can't go at 10 o'clock every day, I'm going to carve out 10 minutes and write. But I make a note that I'm going to at least write every day. And as soon as I, make that section, I'm like, okay, I can chop that off and move on to something else. And I've done what I've needed to for the day. But it's really knowing about how yourself works.
Are you an organized person then?
Yes and no. I'm
okay.
organized when it comes to my writing, but everything else, I try to be organized. And then in a rush, I end up misplacing things.
So why is writing easier for you to be organized around then?
Maybe because I have to, and I know that if I don't, the other people, the audience who reads, is going to be just as confused as I am. And I don't personally want to almost disappoint them.
Okay. So even though you've been writing for a while now, what is still kind of one of the things that you struggle with as a writer that's like a muscle you need to develop over time, but it's your priority? Like, I really got to get better at fill in the blank. What is that for you?
Oh, I still think that would be descriptions to this day.
Yeah.
I've been told my dialogue, spot on, feels natural, feels like people conversing. So I know I don't need work in that, but my descriptions sometimes feel like they could definitely use some help. And that's where I love my editor.
Yeah, that's good. I had one author on talking about how they create worlds and all that to make it feel really like inclusive for the audience as a reader. And they said stuff like they just go take the city bus for no reason. They're not going anywhere, but they just want to watch people and see people in everyday life and make note of how people talk to each other and how people do this and how people do that. Because being out there among people and just being part of the community and just having your radar up and just watching people helps them to kind of give some realism to their characters. Because when they're writing, they're in a writing space, in a writing frame of mind, and they're not really thinking about how their character would actually survive in the real world. So they kind of like take themselves out of the writing space and into the real world just to get some context for their characters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do something similar as well.
Yeah.
When I go out, I watch people, listen to conversations, trying to get those even slight verbal and physical tics that people do.
Yeah. Like watching people go to the mall and watch people just walk. Go sit and grab a drink or some French fries or something, and just watch people walk past you. How the gait to how they walk.
Oh, yeah.
Are they slow? There's one person where I work, and he doesn't know how to pick up his feet. So his heels are just constantly gook, 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 gook. He can't pick up his feet high enough so that you won't hear him dropping his heels all the time.
Yep.
And I'm like, how can you live life like that? I'm so annoyed. But that could be part of a character, right? That's just like, pick up your feet, pick it up, right? But you wouldn't think of that unless you see that in real life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes people lean in and go, I know somebody like that, right? As we talk about right now, people are going, I know somebody who does that. So if you can add that to your characters beyond them being, kind of like black and white facts and this and that, but then add that element to them, it just makes people go, oh, I can relate with that character. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the point of characters, is making them relatable.
Right. Okay. For the authors then that are listening too, one of the biggest things I've heard from authors is you get lots of support in the journey of writing. You have editors, you've got people there to beta read your books. We got support. We got authors writing in community with each other. And then you're done. The book is done. And you're like, yes. And then you're on your own to go out there now and talk about these books. And so often my guests are like, I like writing. I don't like talking about my writing. I have to now get out there, be on podcasts, be like you, Heather, all over the place on shows. But it's not my natural happy place. I'd much rather just be writing and be on my own as fellow introverts for you and I. Is this hard to do stuff like this today and put yourself out there like this?
Yeah, it very much is because I'm in that very same boat. I don't really want to talk to people. I just want to sit alone.
Yeah.
I'm consistently making jokes with my family and fiance about how once I'm big and everything's smooth sailing, I can just hire a manager and I'm just told when I need to show up and do whatever. And I can just focus completely and entirely on writing. But that is many years down the line. I got to do the grind work first.
So there's an introverted author who's getting close to the release of their book and they're dreading doing this. Even though I'm a nice guy and I'd like to have you on my show, they're dreading the idea of getting out there and promoting their book, live reads, book signings, going to a fall market and setting up a table and talking to strangers about my book. Oh my gosh, who wants to do that? And they're just dreading this whole idea. Any thoughts from one introvert to another about how to get in the right mindset to get out there and talk about your book?
Oh yeah, so for me to get in the right mindset, I have the set outfit is what I like to call it.
Oh.
I get my hair in the position, I get the same outfit on, and that is my podcast, my speaking outfit. It kind of gets me in the mood for it. And I only wear that outfit when I'm doing speakings, when I'm doing podcasts, because then there's something psychologically about it.
Yeah.
That you start associating that outfit with those times. So then when you put it on, okay, it's go time. It also helps as soon as you get the first podcast done.
Right. Yes. So it's kind of like
getting there.
It's kind of like a uniform almost,
Yeah.
right? Like a police
Absolutely.
Police officer puts on a uniform. Now they're a police officer. And without the uniform, you're like, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
A firefighter, a doctor, everyone. They put on, it's like you're putting on, okay, now I'm doing this. And in this moment, I'm almost a different person or a different version of me, maybe a little bit more animated than normal, which is exhausting. But yeah, that's what I do in podcasting because I'm an introvert. I love being on my own. So when I have to come and talk to great people like you, and I say have to, but I want to, I have to kind of turn up my little Dave dial just a little bit to be a little bit more Dave than I normally am.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it can be exhausting. So my encouragement for anybody that's dealing with kind of your introverted side and public facing promotion is give yourself some downtime after just to kind of recharge the batteries, right? You've given and given and given. You put yourself out there in a unique way that's hard in the moment, but just give yourself some grace and give yourself some downtime after, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get past that first one, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
After that, it's at first, for me, it was more of the unknown. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was going to work. I knew from my preconceived notions that the media sometimes is not always like to put things in the best of light. So there is that unconscious worry for me that maybe they were going to try to spin something wrong. None of them have. They've all been wonderful.
Good.
But there was that unconscious worry that something was going to go wrong.
Well, this episode's not over yet, so I've got some things for you. I got to tell you, Heather. I'm joking. Okay, this is good. Okay, let's talk to the readers that are here, Heather, because this is the other part of our community. They're here for you. They want to fall in love with you and your books. I'm looking at your website while we're chatting, and one of the tabs I'm seeing on your website is your Meet the Characters. Why is this on your website? Why is this important for readers? I love the artwork, by the way. Oh my gosh. Like I'm like leaning in here. Their eyes for your characters just draw me in. Talk about the Meet the Characters tab on your website. Why is that on there?
So originally I had that on there before launch day because I wanted people to get a sneak peek
Yeah.
about what to kind of expect from the characters. It also lets the audience kind of, I mean, get to know them more than they would in the book.
Okay.
This would allow so that when in the future maybe include like Angelette's favorite food is something. And in book 2 or 3, I can go, she orders her favorite food. Those who have read the piece can go, I know what that is, and
Hmm.
feel like they got a little special secret.
Okay. Out of these characters that we see on your website, which one is the most introverted out of all of them?
The most introverted. That would probably be Ivan,
Really?
the older
Okay.
twin. Yeah,
Okay.
he's more of the academic, intellectual, prefers to keep to himself, letting his younger brother, who's more energetic, athletic, social butterfly, do the
Okay.
social interactions.
So who would frustrate Ivan as an extrovert out of this group of characters?
Honestly, probably Ibis.
Oh,
Probably
really?
his twin brother.
Oh, they're twins. Okay. Okay. Well,
Yes.
okay. But they get along, these two,
Yes, they do.
right? They balance each other out then, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, they do definitely for the times that they are together.
Okay. Well, see, that was a little hook there. That was well
Yep.
done. For the times that they're together. Everyone, did you pick up on that? Okay. I like that. That makes me go, wait, I want to know more about that. Okay, good. Tell us more about the other characters that we see here on your Meet the Characters as well.
I believe there's Valerius and Scarlet.
Yep.
I mean, main antagonist is Valerius.
Yep.
Scarlet's his wife.
Oh, okay.
She becomes kind of estranged from the family for a little bit. That's the best word to put it.
Hmm.
And she goes missing. Doesn't contact the family for a little bit for unknown reasons. Um,
I like how you're talking in code. This is great. I'm not telling you anything, but I'm telling you something at the same time.
you
Yeah.
gotta read the book.
Right. Yeah. I like how
And
you're doing
then
this.
and then there's Angelette, the main protagonist. She's just attempting to live life and, well, finding out that her father's not everything he's chalked up to be.
So out of these characters, who do you feel most attracted to? Like in the sense that they'd be a great friend, a great ally, someone you would hang out with in a drop of a hat. You'd be like, I got to hang out with this person. Who do you
Probably
feel most
Angelette.
aligned with? Really? Okay.
Angela, yeah. Angelette's the kind of person who knows how to play and get along with others, but is also cautious and paranoid to the point where if she sees something wrong, she's gonna figure out how to subtly tell everyone something's wrong.
Okay. What else about her character do we need to know as readers that maybe is not evident right away, but we're going to learn through reading? Is there certain character elements that you really are really important to her?
She is very emotionally intelligent. She
Okay.
sees things. She is observant despite the fact that she is young at the beginning of the book.
Okay.
There is wording choices that Angelette uses that I'm honestly a little proud of, that I haven't seen anyone pick up. So I will be interested to see if someone picks it up.
Okay. That's some homework for everyone. I like that.
Yes.
Okay. What else about her just draws you to her as a character for your book?
She is very stubborn and steadfast. She knows when something is wrong. Of course, this first book is her discovering what she wants to do.
Okay.
But deep down, there is that part of her that knows it's wrong, that knows between right and wrong.
Okay, now this is a non-author question, so please mind my lack of knowledge here in asking this. I've created 3 humans with my wife Jen, and along with my wife had the honor to name these humans. So we have 3 children. We picked some great names. We love it. So I know how to name a human, but how do you name a character? Like what elements go into your mind when you're creating these characters to give them the names that they have? Because there's got to be some, you're not just throwing a dart at a dartboard going, I don't know, I'll call him Bob. But no, you actually have names and there's meaning. What are you doing as an author? Because I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
What do you do as an author to create these names? Because that's part of their identity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, some of that is very intentional. Some of it is very much throwing darts at a dartboard.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, like for Angela and Valerius, I was very specific with their names. They have meanings. My favorite is Angelette being pseudo close to Angel. She's the
Okay. Yeah.
angel. She is rescuing and saving
Yeah.
people from despair.
That's a good
Um,
one. Okay.
but then like Scarlet and Hunter and Ivan and Ibis were definitely, let me hit a generator a few times to see what sounds good.
Okay.
Because names for me, unless they're like the main characters, are not that important to me.
Okay. Interesting.
They, that is not something that I want to spend personally 16 hours trying to find the perfect name because I feel like that's never going to happen for me. I need to find something that sounds good. And most of the times when I name the characters, then the names grow into the characters.
Okay. Like it actually, the names somehow show up in the story as well. Somehow.
Yes.
Okay.
So like when you read about Scarlet, there will be some people who are like, I know a Scarlet like that.
I know a Scarlet too, and I'm sure. I wonder if this is like her. So that's an interesting name. It's not a name that I hear often. So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. So, but you want to be creative with your names. I noticed there's no Bob or one thing I'm very upset. I don't see a Dave. Now, as a Dave, I'm protesting, by the way, because there should be a Dave here. So that's my vote for the next time. Okay.
I'll make sure there's a Dave in there.
A Dave podcaster somehow shows up in your story somewhere. Okay.
All right.
That I'll know right on the nose. I'll know that might be me. So anyways. All right.
Absolutely.
Talk about the world that you're building now with these characters. It's one thing to have characters. We talked about that, but you got to put them somewhere. Where are we? Are we in the future, the present, the past, a different planet? Like, where are we with these characters?
Yeah, so it's somewhere kind of in between future and present.
Okay.
Definitely modern. The main city, Libertas, is actually based on places like Chicago and New York. Big city, skyscrapers everywhere. Very, very large.
Okay.
Modern. Best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
But it's also got a mix of magical realism. So there are some things that like are in modern, so like security cameras, but there's also enhanced security cameras that have been laced with magic. So they do a little bit extra.
Wow. Okay. I like that. And I can tell from the artwork too that the landscape and the backdrop of your characters have there's a reason why. You know, Angelique is on top of a building, it looks like, and you can see the lights behind her and all of that. So that's part of it as well. Some cues.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. The Arabella family lives in one of the very few penthouses in the entire city of Libertas.
Oh, la-di-da, right?
Yep.
Wow.
They're on top of the world, literally.
So is money not a problem for these people?
Oh,
then?
for the Arabella family, absolutely not. Money is
Oh.
no problem.
So that's directly from your life then, because you're loaded, right? Is that what you're doing? Is that what?
Definitely loaded. Definitely I'm not struggling with student loans.
No, not at all. No, okay.
Definitely not.
Why is it important to put them in that context with money not being a problem? Is that key to the story without giving too much away?
Yes. So it brings about another moral dilemma that will be seen later in books. It's that she has been seen next to the dictator. She has been seen next to the one that the people have seen is oppressing them. So why should she be given the opportunity to, quote unquote, repent?
Okay.
You know, it's one of those, because she's been given everything, what right does she have to complain about where she's been, with the people not realizing she's basically walking on eggshells every single day for her entire life.
So a little bit of social injustice maybe in the story? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why is that important to you as an author to kind of go down that path?
It's more of just what the story kind of went into.
Okay.
I I was really worried when I wrote this because there's a lot of like political intrigue and social justice. I'm like, I just wanted a story about a young girl overthrowing her father. There wasn't really much more deeper thoughts into like the political landscape, the social justice, because I mean, when you're overthrowing your political leader father,
Yeah.
and the politics and the social justice kind of just fall into it.
Okay. And it's a lightning rod for some people as readers too, because we kind of come to the story with our own belief systems and everything, what we see in the world and in the news, and then here's your story, kind of just maybe stirring up some thoughts and some questions and some response maybe from readers as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's about the government hiding secrets. What government isn't hiding secrets?
I'm just looking around to see if we're being recorded right now. We are being recorded, but yes. Okay. All right.
I mean, so there's some truth in that, but like, I mean, I'm just a general average nobody citizen. I don't have some sort of special knowledge. I just wrote about what I saw in a dream after reading 1984, which is also about the government and the Big Brother.
So this came from a dream.
Yes.
So dreams come true is what you're telling me.
A little, yeah.
Technically, okay.
Technically, yeah.
When did the dream happen for you?
I was in high school. We had just finished reading 1984 by George Orwell.
Yeah.
And then I had a dream about a young girl overthrowing a dictator who was hiding magic from the people. And it's the story.
So you've lived with this story for a while then.
Oh, yeah. So many renditions.
Wow.
Fun fact, actually, the first ever version of this story was written on October 6th. Like 2013.
Really? Wow.
2014. It was like sometime. I'd have to go back and look and see when the draft says, but it was sometime.
Really?
But I was like, that is so funny that it was written almost nearly exactly X amount of years before it had gotten published. To the date.
To the date.
Yeah, it was October 7th that it was published, so.
That's really interesting. Okay.
Full circle.
What does it feel like then as an author to kind of have a dream, start writing, and then see it come all the way to this point where as readers we can now come and be a part of the dream, part of the story? There's got to become some kind of like feeling of like a finish line moment, or I've completed this thing. Like, what does that feel like to actually get this done?
Surreal and almost a little painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad, maybe even a little bit of sad because it's done.
Not that it's done, because this is part of a series.
Yeah.
So I still got 3 more books. I'll probably feel sad when the series is finished.
Okay, all right.
But I feel like I've just begun the like uphill climb up the mountain. I'm just starting, dipping my toes into the water 20 minutes into the trek.
Yeah. Okay. So would there be 4 books in the series total then? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 4 books.
What's timelines? Do you have timelines for the other books as far as your kind of your working process of when you want these things to come out?
Yes. So the plan is book 2 has been signed for. Contract is in the works, is done. It should come out within a year if things go according to schedule. So October 2026. Okay. And then I had been in talk with Morgan James about potentially having 3 and 4 coming out on a 9-month schedule. Okay. So they'll be a lot quicker and people will be a lot happy with the quick release because they're not going to like how I end the books.
Oh, no. Now everybody's like, oh, no.
I have planned endings and I am just like the rest of the readers. I hate it when writers do cliffhangers on the end of their books. But as a writer, I understand why. It's to get us to buy the next book, to continue the series.
Yeah.
And I want that too. I want you to continue reading the series. If it's resolved at the end of book 1, you won't want to keep reading.
When did you know this would be a multi-series book?
Probably when I started writing the outline. So originally I was like, I could try to make this one book, and then I wrote the outline, and I was like, this has to be split. And I was talking with David Hancock, the founder of Morgan James, and he was like, trilogies usually do really well for first-time authors. And I was like, okay, I think I could do a trilogy. And I set up the outline to be a trilogy. Book 1 got done. I started the secondary outline for book 2. I got to chapter 45 out of 51, and I was at 80,000 words
Ooh,
already. That's
ooh.
nearly double the first book. And I went to him and I was like, look, I think I'm going to have to split it. What's your opinion from a professional standpoint? Should I split it? He was like, yeah, you're basically double. You're probably going to get to like 120 words by the
Yeah.
time you're ending. That's a little too big, but still doable. And I was like, all right, let's split it. So it had to get cut down the middle.
So what a trilogy I know. What's a 4-book series called? Is there a name for that?
I
A
don't, I don't,
forogy?
I have no
Quad?
clue.
Quadogy? I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. I just keep calling it a 4-book series.
Okay, that's easy. Let's do that. All right. Yeah, let's not make up new words. Okay, that's exciting. Let's talk more about the story specifically then. What haven't we covered for a reader? I'm envisioning somebody having your book in their hands for the first time. They're about to start reading. You bust in the door and go, wait a minute. Before you read this, you got to know ... because you want the reader to get the best experience right out of the gate, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, you bought my book. So there's kind of two things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
But the person's going to read. They're going to be like, why are you in my house? That's probably the first question they're going to ask. But the second one is, tell me about your book. What else have we not talked about this story that's just going to pull people in? What's your intent? What's your hope for the reader? Come on.
My hope for the reader,
Yeah.
is probably to understand that there are 3 sides to every story, including this one. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. That's a quote by Robert Evans that I absolutely love. And that's very true for this book, especially considering that the book is written from somebody else's perspective who is present within the story. That is not Angelette or Valerius.
So there's 4 sides to the story and 4 books in the series.
Yes.
Okay. So how early that is it evident that we were meeting this other voice? Is it in the first book or later?
No. I'm still debating on if it's going to be something that's revealed in the
Okay.
books themselves. It very well could just be something I talk about in podcasts as a little like surprise tip. It is actually going to be prudent in the audiobook because the narrator that I worked with actually asked those kinds of questions and I was able to talk and we worked about it. So she's able to do a very different voice for the narrator than for Angelette because they're different people.
So there's someone guiding us in the story as well, then, through as a narrator.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Was that the intent from the beginning, or did that happen during the writing process?
No, that happened during the writing.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, my fiance had proposed this. He was like, what if it was written by so-and-so? I was like, yeah, that could actually really work.
well, the one thing your fiance has in common is proposing things. So
Yeah.
you guys are getting married. That's a proposal, and proposing ideas for your book. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good. That's a good combo. He's got that going on. That's great. I love that. It's great. So all right. So we're gonna have a different voice in our head. What about the audiobook then? How much direction do you give to somebody in an audiobook format? Do you just give them the book and let them do what they want, or do you have some sort of parameters? You said you spoke with them, right?
Yes. So with actually what we did is we had a little interview beforehand. I got to like talk and interview a bunch of narrators who were all fantastic. It was
Yeah.
honestly a little difficult to decide who I was going to choose, but I did have set criterias of they needed to be able to do a child's voice because Angelette is 10 at the beginning of the book and then goes to 13, 15 for the end of the book and rest of the series. So they needed to be able to fluctuate with that voice. Also, with it being a main female narrated voice, I needed to make sure that they could do a variety of male voices that felt different and didn't, feel like it was the same person talking.
How do you secure a voice for future books that aren't even written yet? Like, how do you maintain that relationship with a voice actor? Because I would think you'd want to have some consistency between book to book to book, that
Oh
it's not
yeah.
a completely different voice for book two, and you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like the character at all. So
Yeah.
how do you like do you have that conversation saying, I'm working on multiple projects and I'd like to keep you in my world as a voice actor? How does that conversation go?
Oh yeah.
Because
So
I have no
actually for
idea.
us, that was actually written into the contract. So I
Okay.
got a little bit of a discount keeping her for all four books.
Oh, good.
So she's guaranteed to get the rest of my projects for this series, and depending on how well this hits off, I might keep her for the rest of all of my books
Wow.
if it fits well.
Okay.
But yeah, she's guaranteed. It's usually talked about in the contract beforehand because
Okay.
usually by the end of the first book, you know if it's going to be more than one and if you want to keep it. And I can't imagine any narrators declining a continuation of a project
No.
unless there's existential circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Okay.
work. Who's going to
Yeah.
reject work?
Is the audiobook done or is it still in process?
It is still in process.
Okay.
I was really lucky because I wanted it to be super immersive. So my audio team is actually working to add in extra like little noises and sound effects into the book. So when you hear like it says like the rain's falling, you actually hear a little bit of rain falling
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Nice.
book. So you feel immersed into it, which I absolutely am going to love.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. So is there a release date in mind for the audiobook as well?
Not yet. I was just told
Okay.
a few months. Not
Okay.
putting pressure on them. It's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
The book's out, ebook's out.
Yeah.
I've done what I can.
Yeah. As a reader, I like an audiobook and the actual physical copy of the book.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
can listen and read at the same time. More of my senses involved. I find it more immersive. So
Oh yeah,
that's kind of my
absolutely.
approach. So I buy both. I just say, that's kind of how I do it.
Oh,
So
yeah. And with the
good.
future installments, they should be released right on time because the hardest part, this first one, was finding the narrator. Now that we have her, I can say, hey, book two, fully done, fully edited. It's been done here. Get it recorded. Let's do the things. Let's make sure it's ready to push out by
Yeah.
the print date.
Do you have to listen to the audiobook before it's released to make sure it's what you
Yes.
wanted complete?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Is
listen
it?
to it, and then I also send it to my fiance and his mother, who also really loves to read, just so I can get multiple things. Because there are some things that like they'll catch that I didn't, because it sounded
Yeah.
fine to me. But they're like, this kind of sounded a little weird.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can have updates. All right. That'd be interesting because you wouldn't want it to go out and there's a chunk missing of the story or something's wrong. You're like, wait, what happened here? So yeah, good. All right. See, now I'm learning a lot from you. This is really, really good. I like this. Let's talk about your website because I do want to ask you a question here to end off together, but send people to your website. Where should we go to see more about these characters, more about following you? There's lots of links to your X and Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Everything's here for everyone to come follow you. But tell us more about your website.
I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say about
Yeah.
I try to keep posted with where I'm going to be when I've got events going on. I mean, if people want to absolutely reach out to me, there is an email online if you want me to speak on the podcasts or
Good.
come talk. I can also schedule something. I mean, Instagram and Facebook is where I'm really active,
Okay. All right.
and
we can sign up
occasionally,
for email newsletters as well
yes,
with you?
absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll occasionally also be updating the character lists for more important characters that'll come later on.
Oh, so
So-
there's more to come.
More
I
to
like
come.
this. I like it. Okay. So you mentioned that your audio narrator might be with you for future projects. Do you see yourself writing a lot in the future? Or you have any kind of ideas that you're kind of thinking about for the future after this series is all done? Like, I'm still living the next chapter is the name of the show. So how are you living your next chapter?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So one thing David had said to me when I got started, and he said, always have your next 3 books planned. And I
Wow.
looked at him and I thought, I'll do you one better. I'll have the next 3 series planned. So I went ahead and went, this is going to be the series 2. This is going to be series 3. This will be series 4. So I've already got in my head what I'm doing. My fiance is helping me with series 2 because that is complete fantasy, magical, like full depth, full world building, exploration. So I need help. He's doing the maps, he's doing a lot of the culture generation stuff for it to help so that I can focus on this first series right now, but then I can come into it very easy when I'm done.
Okay. Being around a writer can be contagious. Do you think he'll ever decide to start writing on his own as well as he
Oh no,
watches you?
absolutely not.
You know? Okay, all right,
No,
okay.
no, no. He loves creating. We run a D&D campaign. He's
Oh,
the
good.
DM.
Oh,
Um, the ultimate dream at some point was to see if we could have a streaming campaign. We streamed one of our campaigns, but probably with both of our jobs, it might not be
yeah.
realistic, so it might always just be a pipe dream.
Okay. All right. But he sounds like a very creative person, and it's
Oh,
nice to have
yes,
somebody on your side that not only
absolutely.
loves what you do, but also loves you as well. That's a great combo. So,
Oh, yeah, which is really weird because he is very much, he's an engineer, so he is
okay.
very much in the math, statistics side, the science.
Yeah. It's a great combo between the two
Oh,
of
yeah.
you. Awesome. So, okay, my ask of you is to keep us in mind as you do future projects. I know the audience that listens to the show loves to get updates from past guests on new things you're working on. So if and when your next thing comes out, I mean, if in the sense that you're available, I'd love for you to come back and give us updates in the future as you release new books come in the series, because I know the audience would love to reconnect with you. So keep us in mind, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the moment right now, I just got finished with a potential pilot episode for a series, for a TV series for this. So we'll see if that takes
A
me somewhere.
TV series? Come
Yeah,
on.
we'll see
Wow.
if it takes me somewhere. And if it does, I'll be right back here.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely celebrate with you on that. That's amazing. Good job. Awesome.
Thank you.
Heather, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for making time out of your busy day. I know you got lots of podcasters chasing you, lots of great opportunities. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your
Yeah.
journey and how your dream is literally coming true
Oh,
as
yeah.
you write. So thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's absolutely no problem. I really enjoy talking.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're great at this, and I can see why people want you on their show, why I wanted you on my show. So thank you so much for making time for us, Heather. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Excellent. Everyone, thank you for listening and thank you for being here. Go and check the links to Heather's website. Go and buy. There's links right there to buy the books. When you buy, wherever you buy, leave a review. Tell somebody about Heather and what she's doing and what she's writing, and fall in love with these characters. And there's a lot of little hints and a lot of little Easter eggs that Heather's been throwing at you this entire time she's been talking. You got some homework to do to go find these things. So when you find these Easter eggs, reach out to Heather. Say, I found it. It's on page 38. I just made that number up. But tell her that you found it. I think that would be really fun conversation. So everyone listening, all the links in the show notes as always. Go support amazing authors like Heather. Heather, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much again for pressing play. As you've heard, great guests on the show. And one thing you didn't hear in this conversation is what? What did you not hear? Think about it for a second. That's right. Not a single solitary commercial for a mattress or a supplement or a whatever you call it. No. Why? Because we don't want to break up the conversation with commercials. So the fact that you're still here means that you are a fan of the show, I'm assuming. So if you want to help to keep the podcast going and to make me feel really happy, all I really care about is coffee, okay? I just got to be honest. I love coffee. I'm drinking one right now. It's starting to get cold. I need to warm it up. Helping us with our Buy Me a Coffee link over at livingthenextchapter.com and also in the show notes helps kind of keep the lights on around here. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm paying for everything. So I would love to have a little coffee donation, even $5 kind of fills up my cup. And I would love to enjoy a coffee from you. So if you're interested, again, Thank you for listening. But you can use our Buy Me a Coffee link and fill up the cup. Thanks for being here.